Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday training. If you're on the West Coast, it's morning. If you're on the East Coast, it's afternoon. But we are glad you all are here and excited post-convention to talk about some really important things happening in the rest of this year as well as 2024. So if you did not get a chance yet to watch the conference, you can check your email. They do have clips of different videos in there. And of course, if you had your ticket or virtual ticket, then you're able to go back for the next 30 days and watch it. So definitely do that. We're not going to recap all of convention because I know for those of you that were there, I would love for you to share one takeaway in the chat, whether you were in person or whether it was online. One big thing that was your huge takeaway, like aha moment for you, or maybe there were several, I don't care, but drop them in the chat. We want to hear what you have to say. Peter, what's your one takeaway from convention?
Since this is our 4th year, Dr. Staci building, and we have built such a strong online community. The one thing I saw this year more than ever, as you know, our convention numbers are doubling, right? From the 3 years before, it was 1,000. Last year was 1,500. This year was 3,000 people there. And what I saw from the United States to the international, I had people from Singapore, Philippines, Japan, Thailand, everybody come up to us. Guess why? Because they know our podcast. I have the one thing I noticed, that everyone knows our system. They know who Team Evolve is, and they actually really saw all of us come together because everybody knew each other there. So I just felt the energy. People know, they felt the energy who was on our teams. Everybody showed love from our teams. That's the one big thing that I really got out of it. And I wanted to say how the company recognized all of Team Evolve's leadership. I hope everybody got to saw that at home, in the comfort of your home. But if you were there, you felt how much love we have for each other. Dr. Staci, I think it was probably one of my best ever convention in my 20-year career in the industry. And we can go on and on about it, but that's one of my takeaways.
I love it. Thank you, Peter. Well, I will share with you all that my biggest takeaway was the fact that there were only 3,000 people in the room. And that may sound like a lot because it was LifeWave's biggest convention ever in 20 years. But that is so tiny, coming from a company that my first convention was very much like last year's, where there were a little over 1,000 people, and growing with that company over the course of 10 years as they filled arenas of 30,000 people. So if you're not for sure if this is the right time for you, or if you think you missed the boat, or if this is do I want to be a part of this opportunity at all, you're in the right place at the right time, and you're with the right people. And David is leading that ship. He is already set sail, and he is leading it, and he is leading it with honesty and integrity and humility and just such heart and love and compassion for people and for humanity. So know that we are only going to grow. They already shared with us on the field advisory board on Wednesday that the pre-ticket sales, the first 72 hours, were almost 4,000 tickets sold already for next year.
What? No.
I said, so yeah.
Wow.
I know, right? So I said, Garrett, I hope you are understanding that, because he said, well, we're going to double. And I said, no. We're going to be on triple. We're going to be on triple. So you better make sure you have convention location for 10,000 people. So because of that, they have not yet announced, like they said they would, the location and dates for convention, because I think they've had to shift some things around. They weren't expecting for the field to buy that many tickets that in the first 72 hours. So know that what's going to happen over the course of the next year. Convention will be in October next year. That is this right now. Last week kicked off our 20-year celebration. So everything Peter and I are going to talk about today is going to be exponentially heightened from the past, from anything in the past, because of the 20-year celebration, 20-year anniversary. And it started last weekend, and it's going to continue on throughout the entire year. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, you can still get it at a discounted price for $197. So get your convention ticket and get as many people as possible on the convention. I anticipate, not 100% sure, but I anticipate that announcement coming this week on the exact dates and location in October next year for our 2020. So that's exciting.
Can I throw in a disclaimer before we start everything?
Yes.
So everyone, I've been getting this all week since we got back. We are not selling alcohol on our product line. Okay, everyone? Please understand that the main thing of the gift of the brandy is David has created his light technology. He infused it into the alcohol because he's such a creator. He just creates everything. And it is literally a 20-year anniversary gift of one of his technology that'll be infused in there. And he's just showing off and giving everyone the opportunity to taste and see what is possible. And if you want to be part of that history, everyone next year will be able to order one bottle of this collection, exclusive collection of a brandy. So make sure you know, let everybody know from this video on, we are not an alcohol selling company. Okay, so thank you very much.
But what better way to celebrate than to have a little cheers together, right? And why wouldn't you have the inventor of the most incredible technology on the planet invent something that's actually healthy and medicinal and good for you? Woo, what a concept. But again, like you said, Peter, we're not selling it. We're not going to try to market brandy to people. We are a technology company. It's just a way to celebrate. And David's so creative, he thought, why not do this, right? So let's get into the nuts and bolts. We are going to talk to you all today about what's coming in 2024 and the incentive trips and exactly how to earn them. If you noticed, they have not put a cap on any of them. In previous trips, Aruba, Tulum, there have been caps on the number of people that could go on these trips because of space and limitations within those places. So David has made sure that this year, these trips that we're doing, we're going to kick off at the beginning of the year into first quarter, beginning of second quarter. We're waiting on that date still. We are going to kick off with unlimited numbers of people that are able to attend this trip. So I'm going to do some screen sharing, okay? Because we're going to look at what that looks like for you all and what it takes to be in Cancun with us, because we're all going to Cancun. We're talking North American here. Obviously, you'll see there's also an Asian and also a European, but we're going to talk specifically about this qualification here for North America to come to Cancun in the beginning part of 2024. So qualification period's already started. That's fantastic. It started October 2nd and it runs until February 4th. But I want to make sure that you understand, we're going to talk about the ranks and how to get there, and obviously the points in those ranks as well too. We're going to really focus on this senior director, but I want you to notice where it says right here, you have to maintain that rank for 6 weeks. It doesn't have to be consecutive. So you need to go to February 4th, that's the cutoff deadline, and count back 6 weeks, because it says during the qualification period. So the qualification period ends on the 4th. So don't think, oh, I'm going to get to senior director by the 4th and then I can maintain it for 6 weeks. We will already be probably on the trip. Okay. So you have to have that 6-week window inside of that October 2nd to February 4th. So get your calendar out. We're going to be talking about calendar anyways here in just a minute. And we're going to definitely make sure you mark the date. If you are wanting to go to Cancun and you are not currently a senior director, this is your easiest, fastest, and best way to get an all expense paid trip for yourself and a guest is to promote to senior director. Now, Peter, how fast did you promote to senior director? How long did it take you?
Uh, I think it took me like 30 days.
Okay.
36,
So,
yeah, 30.
yeah,
40
30
days.
days. So it took me 3 weeks. It took you 4 weeks. Okay. And you guys have until January, right? Almost January, end of December to get this done. So that means you have 2.5 months, right? 10 weeks right now, at least, if someone can do the math for me and drop that in the chat. But that would be what you're focusing on, okay? Senior director. And the thing I love about senior director, Peter's gonna talk about what each rank looks like. But what I love about this is that it only happens if you help other people. That's the only way you are going to get to senior director and to Cancun is by helping other people get our product on their body, get those patches, improve their quality of life, and you're going to help other people make an income. They are going to be able to get their patches paid for, maybe their family members' patches paid for, maybe even be able to make car payments, house payments. We know senior directors are earning average, I'm just gonna say average, about $1,000 a week. So if you think about that, that's a lot of money, right? $1,000 a week extra if you have a full-time job, or maybe you're retired. So Peter, let's look at that. We have, if you go to start333biz.com, you will find this in the compensation plan section under Evolve Money, okay? So Peter's gonna talk to you about our first step and what that looks like, and then we're gonna look at the points for that, okay? So let's look at the manager.
Let's do this. Let's go back just one more step, Dr. Staci, and let's help everybody really understand the behavior, right, Dr. Staci? Why is these companies doing incentive trips? It's called an incentive for what? So you can push yourself, right? So you can go over the top. And every company, every year, they do have 1 or 2 incentive trips. But how many do we have this year, Dr. Staci?
4.
3, right?
4
incentive trips for the 20th anniversary. So to start off this call, everyone, we want each one of you just to really take a deep breath and really visualize. What is your 2024 goal this year? Do you want to just graduate? If you want to just graduate, how many people can you help to graduate to come with you? And our whole comp plan is what, Dr. Staci? Just bring 2, right? Find 2 builders. If you can develop 2 builders and identify them this year and get ready to run through them next year, what if we all graduate and the company is giving you all the support, all the push, and that is what these incentive trips are, is to create behaviors to build yourself, build your team, and if you do run through it, the company will reward you and your teams together. And that is what this incentive trip said. Now, if you don't hit it, what is the worst thing that can happen, Dr. Staci, if you don't hit this?
You still help people improve their quality of life.
Exactly. You still learn how to build a business. You still went through the behaviors of the 333 PPP. You still learn how to change your lifestyle to build this. So what I'm trying to say here is, everyone, this is your year. This is your time to build. This is the time where you get rewarded and incentivized. So just go for it. And if you don't hit it, that's still okay, because what if you make so much money that you can incentivize yourself every single year and take yourself out for you and your family? Does that make sense, everyone? So as we go through the process right here, our very first rank, we've been teaching this since the day we came in, everyone. The most important rank is what? Is a manager. So the company is now telling you, become a manager making machine, because as a manager, you do 2 things or 3 things. Number 1, as a manager, You're learning our system. You're learning how to do the 333 PPP. Number two, as a manager, you're opening up the door so you can build your teams now. 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So to become a manager, you must come in as a gold. You must be on 110 personal volume PV, and you must enroll 4 silvers and above, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. The moment you do that, you're telling the company, I am here for the business. I am here to help my 4 partners and more. And now you're opening up the cycling, okay? You're opening up the generation match. And now you're going to start earning the 3 ways the company is going to pay you. But now we are a manager making machine, and the whole incentive trip is just based on what, Dr. Staci?
Managers.
Managers. So everybody catch the drift?
Yes. So let's talk about something else I want to share with everyone here. So let's talk about a calendar. Okay. Calendar is very important that we look at this, because this is going to be the foundation for your business. I can get this part off there. Okay, so when we look at, obviously this is a random week, okay? I just went to Google and I searched weekly calendar. I'm sure you have some kind of calendar in your life, whether it's on your phone, mine is on my phone, or whether it's a paper, or an actual like notebook that is a calendar. Whatever it is, if you are with LifeWave, this is your boss. Okay, so what I want you to do, if you have not done this yet, I want you to get your calendar or print a calendar. I don't care, but I want you to put in things that have to happen in your life. If you have a job, if you are working out, which you should be, right? That's in your calendar. Family obligations, whether it be kids' ball games, grandkids' birthdays, whatever that looks like, you block out the times that something is planned in your calendar. Then, when you look at your LifeWave business, you are looking at what we call income producing activities. Those are things that go on your calendar. So income producing activity means I'm actually doing something to build my business. So what would that look like? Well, I'm going to go to a patching party. I'm going to host a patching party. I'm going to get on a patching podcast. I'm going to host my own patching podcast, right? I'm going to do an in-person little get-together at a coffee shop and present these patches to 4 or 5 people in my group, my networking group, or my church group. You want to fill your calendar with 30-minute to an hour-long segments of income-producing activity. If you have your calendar and you open your calendar and you've got all your life and all your stuff on it, and there isn't anything on there that has to do with your LifeWave business, as far as getting in front of people, then how is this going to grow? It's not going to grow. And I'm going to tell you what I did when I signed up. When I signed up, I listened to Peter No, and Peter No said BLD. We work our business, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I went to Laura, who's the first person that I enrolled. And I said, Laura, we're going to do BLD. We're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are going to pick a time in the morning. We're in Florida, so it is 11 a.m. for breakfast. That's when we intermittent fast. So we do 11 a.m. We're going to have a 30-minute Zoom, and we're going to start inviting people to that Zoom. That's what we're going to do. And she said, okay, fantastic. And I said, then we're going to have lunch. Lunch is at 3 p.m. in Florida. So we're going to have 3 p.m. Zoom, Laura, and we're going to invite everybody we can to the 3 p.m. Zoom. And then at 9 p.m., Marcy and Peter had already established the Patching Podcast, where 2 people come on and share their personal testimonial. And I said, so at 9 p.m., we're going to invite everybody to the Patching Podcast so they can hear testimonials from other people. So we did this every single day, Monday through Friday, for 6 months. I went from zero, know nothing about LifeWave, nothing about the patches, couldn't explain the science and tech any more than what I had heard on a video or two from David. Put it on, it reflects back your light, activates your body's own copper peptides, la, 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 right? That was it. And then and people ask questions. I let them ask questions. You could literally read from the health tracker, literally word for word, read from the health tracker in your own little patchy party. So we did that 11, 3, and 9. 6 months later, I was a presidential director, earning over $15,000 a month.
Wow.
Consistency is key. I worked an hour and a half. Now, did I message with people in and out throughout the day and the night? Whenever? Yes, I did. Whenever people would message, I'd pick a time to sit down and respond back to messages. Or I would send out some more messages, some more invites, introducing more people, right? You heard Peter, 3, 3, 3. We reach out to 3, we follow up with 3, we invite 3. For me, that was always 30, 30, 30, or 300, 300, 300. It's never a 3 for me because 3, 3, 3 takes 5 minutes. It literally takes 5 minutes to send 3 messages. It takes 5 minutes to follow up with 3 people and to invite 3 people. Like, it's just 5 minutes total. And if you're looking at wanting to earn an income from this and grow a business, you're going to invest more than 5 minutes in it a day, right? I look at it as if I opened up a Subway, I'm not going to show up for 5 minutes a day and expect myself to be successful. I'm going to have to put in some time. So that's why I want you to get your calendar. Because when Peter shows you director, I want you to look at that director and go, okay, so to get to manager, okay, great. I can work, an hour a day. Fine. Block in your calendar whenever that is. Or I can work, 10 hours a week. Block in your calendar whenever that is. When you get to director, there's going to be a little bit more, right? Because you're helping other people. So Peter, I want you to share with them this director and what this looks like. Because not only have you just done that, you helped 4 people get the product, fantastic, amazing, but now you're actually going to help 2 people do what you just did. So that means you're going to be leading, you're going to be guiding. So let's talk about that, Peter.
So this is my favorite chart here because it outlines, it shows you, everyone, the magic number to reach the highest rank, senior presidential director, the qualification. What does it look like? The magic number is 6. Everyone write this down. Number 6 and number 2. 6 stands for 6 active. Active means 6 workout buddies that are paying for their gym membership or is on auto ship that are using the product. They're active with you, okay? Now, out of the 6, just like what Debbie did today, congratulations. This is the first time she developed 1 manager. So the number 2 stands for identify and develop your 2 bodybuilders. I call them bodybuilders. What does that, who is a bodybuilder? Someone that is like you or better than you. Someone that shows up to the podcast. Someone that is doing the 3-3-3 every day, and someone that is going through the process of enrolling and developing them. So to become a director, you need to have 6 active, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and you have to have 1 manager on each side develop. Now, some people say, Peter, this is the hard thing to do. Yes, it is. But this is what you call building your foundation. The first step is becoming manager. The second step is developing a manager. The moment you learn and go through that process is the moment you go to the gym and learn how to build your muscles. And when you know how to work that muscle, you're just going to continue that muscle and build that constantly until you are a manager making machine. When you become a manager making machine, everything will grow and duplicate organically from this point on. Until you get here, that is your journey. Until you get here, that is your learning curve, that you're constantly in the gym with us learning this process. So director is, to me, this obviously is the second rank, but it is a very important identifying foundation rank, okay? Reaching the manager is opening up the door. Being a director is your foundation. And after director, the next rank The only difference between a director and a senior director is just pure volume. And volume only comes from what, everyone? Duplication. When your teams start to identify and develop their managers, all you're going to see is people. People equates to points. Points will equate to money. Points, the one thing I love about this comp plan, Dr. Staci, it is a behavior-driven compensation plan. If you do this, you will get rewarded this. It is not dangle the carrot or reach a rank and receive a big bonus and then you just stop. This is a constant moving because you're constantly getting paid by people coming in, which equates to volume, which equates to compensation, okay? So I hope everybody understands the 90 days to senior director, or the 3 steps that you have to do to get there. Now, if you do it in 90 days, congratulations. If it takes you 6 months, hoorah rah. If it takes you a year, kudos to you. There is no time frame. But again, that's why we have an incentive trip to pre-qualify, or to, there are some people on the team that just want to go for the gusto. But what if that one person just happens to be somewhere in your left leg and your right leg? Would that motivate you, everyone, if you found someone that is running for senior director? Yes. What if that happens to be someone on the bottom leg, where Dr. Staci, when she came to us right away, and we recognized her because she just came in like a force. But what if there's that leader that just comes in somewhere below and just pushes up the entire organization? What do you think is going to happen next year, Dr. Staci, when everybody sees and learns and knows how to do this? What is going to be built in our team's momentum when everyone's doing this?
Well, Peter, we talked about this a little earlier. Right now, we have 30 SPDs in our organization. And so our goal, mine, yours, and Marcy's, is to help 100 people become senior presidential directors, top of the company, by this time next year at convention. And that is very doable for that to happen because of where we are with the momentum, because of what's happening in our company and in our world with people, with their health and with their financial situation. This is an incredible opportunity to get your life in check in many ways, right? And so we're going to help you do this. We always talk about locking arms and working together. And that's why we're here. We're doing this together so that you understand that we're a team that works together on this. And so if you look at these 2 charts, I want you to look at the difference between the 2, okay? So looking at director, like Peter said, this is your foundation, right? You've got your 2 managers. You have to remember that you've personally enrolled these people. How do I get managers? I want to go back to this because I really want you to understand that how you get managers is by putting activity on your calendar and inviting people to join you. You invite. Years ago, when I was in another company, I went out to Vegas to listen to Eric Worre. He puts on Network Marketing Pro. And I went out there and he said, the people that have the most butts in the seat make the most money in network marketing. And that stuck with me. If you've never read Go Pro, it's a great book. But his content is really, really valid. And the calendar is where you fill the butts in the seat. You create the events. Marcy and Peter live in California, right? My upline, April, lives in North Carolina, South Carolina. So when I got started, I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to create the events. I'm going to do my own breakfast, lunch, and then we're going to all join in together at dinner. And you create what you want in your city, in your state, or online. But your upline is there to help you. They will lock arms. There's somebody that will lock arms with you, just like Marcy and Peter's my sideline brother, right? We locked arms. April, we locked arms because April didn't know anything either. And she's like, all right, let's do this. But remember that going to director means you're going to be working with these two people, teaching them how to invite. And if you want to create something fantastic, if you want to help them plug into what's currently there, because we have a lot of things to plug into now, right? Back when I started and Peter started, it was just the 9 p.m. and that's all we had. There are a lot more opportunities now. But if you want to create something, if you're a belly to belly at a coffee shop, then do at least once or twice a week, right? You need to have at least 2 to 3 income producing activity events on your calendar every week. We call them pop-in patching parties online. I do them all the time with people, me and a newer distributor on my team, newer brand partner. And I'll say, okay, here's the invite. I'll make this quick invite. You send this out to all your people and we'll do 30 minutes and I'll explain the science and tech and they can ask questions. I still do that today, 2.5 years later. The same thing I was doing at 11 and 3. I just do it with smaller groups of people now, right? And I save Tuesday night for the big one. But that activity on your calendar is how you're going to help these people go manager, because you're going to teach them to do the same. And when you look at senior director is the chart that is the foundation for the entire company all the way to the top. Once you've hit director, your goal is to help a director on your right that you've personally enrolled and a director on your left that you've personally enrolled. This business, and when Peter and I talk about comp plan, we did a comp plan training several months ago. If you do not have a personally enrolled director on the right and on the left, you will miss that 3rd level gen match bonus. And when you get up through the ranks, executive, presidential, and senior presidential director, you're talking about thousands of dollars a month that you will be missing if you don't build structure according to these charts. I always say this, it's like whenever I get on the boat, I don't drive, my husband does, but when we get on the boat, there's a map. If you want to go somewhere that you've never been to go before, we went down to Port Charlotte Harbor several weeks ago, and we had been down there, but it had been a long time. And so, Britt pulls up the map. You've got to chart your course to get there. Otherwise, we could be out in the middle of the ocean heading towards Bahamas. Who knows? So this is your map. This is your map. And these need to be printed out, printed paper in front of you. There is power with the pen. This pen, your name and the people that you currently have will help you to fill in these circles faster. I promise you this. When you take the time to print and write and keep this in front of you on your desk or in the kitchen, sleep with it under your pillow. I'm not joking. Whatever it takes, these people will fall out of the sky. When you are excited and you are in alignment with what you're doing and you're having fun and you're creating that activity and you're watching people's lives change, people fall out of the sky. They will contact you out of the blue and say, oh my gosh, I've been watching you forever. Or, oh my gosh, I know you're into all kinds of this and that. Do you have an opportunity for me? Or can I join you? I want to do what you're doing. That alignment, you're a magnet. You are a magnet for that. And that's the space you want to be in. And so this senior director chart, we're going to go back to the looking at the promotion here. That rank that took me 3 weeks, it took Peter 4 weeks, it took Laura 4 weeks, it took Gloria on my team 4 weeks, it took Mel 4 weeks, it took Leah, I think 5 weeks, 6 weeks. That can happen before the end of the year for all of you on here. And that gets you plus a guest to the trip to Cancun. And that also sets you up for the next incentive we're going to talk about. But before we go on, Peter, there's another way that people can earn this trip without going senior director, because there's obviously people on here that are senior directors and above, right? Like myself and yourself. So we're not going to go senior director. We're going to go get some points. And points happen when you look down here by personally enrolling people, which we do that every single week, right? We personally enroll silvers, golds, and diamonds every week. There has not been 1 week that I have not enrolled someone. Not 1 week, okay? There's always someone being enrolled, whether it's, as a silver, just a customer, they're just wanting to buy, or whether they decide they want to come in and build a business. It doesn't matter. And then we look at rank advancements. So Peter, you talked about manager. All right. So
Mhm.
if you are a brand new manager, all right. So Debbie, you just promoted out Amy as a brand new manager. Amy just earned 2 points towards the trip, but you enrolled her, so you earned 2 points as well.
Great.
That's fantastic. If you rank to director, you're going to get an additional 4 points. Yeah, exactly. And you're enrolling people during this process, so you're going to be earning points from enrollments. If you promote out a director, it's 3 points. Now you'll see here in the top where it says rank advancement, there is no point for you to rank to senior director because that automatically earns you the trip. So you don't need any points, right? So when you go senior, you already earn it. But if you promote out a senior director, you're going to earn 3 points. And then obviously you can see the presidential and the senior presidential director points as well too. Okay. So this is set up for you to promote yourself, but also help people promote along the way. And it all starts with the calendar. All of it starts with the calendar. Peter, you have anything you want to add to that before we move on?
Again, these trips are for you to reach your rank, for you to create the activity, for you to reach your rank, and for you to help others reach their rank. If you just have that in your daily goals and daily mindset, you will achieve these trips. So just always think of the behaviors. You do the behaviors, you help yourself, you help others, and all that will be rewarded towards the incentive trip.
And your behavior has to go on a calendar. And the
Exactly.
calendar's on your desk or it's in your phone, and it is your boss in this company, in this industry. Your calendar's your boss. Okay. If you
So
don't
I
have
have
any
a quick question. It's unclear to me, when you hit senior director, is that going to allow 2 people to go? Are you going to get a +1 with that? Because that's confusing to me right now.
So at the beginning, when I talked about that, that was stated. I don't know if you heard that part, Kathleen, or not, but when you earn the trip by going senior director, you automatically get to bring a guest. It does
Okay.
not say that on here, but that was confirmed with Garrett this past
Perfect.
week. Okay.
Thanks, Staci.
You are very welcome.
And I just want to clarify this too, Stacy, because some people are very confused. The reason why when you build 2 managers, one on your left, one on your right, is because those 2 managers will become your directors, one on the left, one on the right. If you have 2 directors on each side, that's when you maximize the comp plan by opening up the first, the second, and the third generation of your generational match. If you have 2 directors on one side, you will never open up the third generation on the override. Just to clarify that for everyone. You can reach the top of the compensation plan with 2 directors on the same leg, but that does not open up the third generation of overrides for you. So the company is not punishing you, but they're telling you everything has to be split, one left, one right, to maximize the whole compensation plan.
Yep, exactly. You want to be a 2-legged person. And so
Yes.
you want to have a leg that is working, that you've personally enrolled on one side and on the other. And sometimes people say, well, I want to share, like, there's a lot of volume here. I don't want to add anybody there. Okay, so then again, you are going to miss money. You're going to miss that third level in your gen match, and you will never get it if you do not have a director on the right and on the left. And so if you do from day one, that's your focus in your mind. I'm going to build to this chart. I'm going to build this, and I may have 2 or 3 directors on one side, but I've got to get another one on the other side. And when you have the paper and you have that in front of you, then that is part of the creation process, right? That's a big part of it.
And I want to add this before we go into the incentive trip for the Greek. Dr. Stacy, my biggest cycling lead SPD is Bob and Amy. Guess what generation they're on?
What?
My third generation, everyone. So if I never open up the third generation, I will be missing out on my biggest cyclers in my entire organization is Bob and Amy. So that is how important it is to build it right in the beginning and develop it right so you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. And everything here is called a binary. So we're forcing you, we're telling you, and we're guiding you to open up both legs so you can be always qualified for every single trip or everything that the company is going to offer you in the future.
Thank you, Peter.
Hey,
All
I
right,
got
let's
questions.
look
Dr.
at-
Staci and Peter, got a questions?
Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Let me find participants. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do anyone asking questions just because. So if you have a question, put it in the chat for me, okay?
And we'll
Yeah.
answer it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the 20th anniversary leadership trip. So this is the big, massive, huge trip that David has planned for the 20-year celebration. So we're going to celebrate in Cancun. You know, of course, we're going to celebrate at some of the boot camps we have throughout the year and obviously later in the year at convention. But this is the main focus right here is this 20th anniversary trip. And it is in Greece. And if you do not have your passport yet, you need it for Cancun. You're going to need it for Greece as well, too. And so this qualification period already started and it ends May 31st. But remember, you're going to have to back the weeks. So count back those weeks because you have to maintain that rank for a certain number of weeks in order to be able to go. So you have your calendar, you have your year-long calendar for 2024 already. And so you're gonna look at that and see what dates based on where you are. So if you're a current PD or a current SPD, I'm not gonna go too much into this because I'm sure you've already talked with your other leaders as I have. But current PDs and current SPDs, you have to obviously be paid as rank for a certain amount of time, 20 weeks for PDs, 25 weeks for SPDs. And if you're a PD, you have to develop a new senior director that is personally enrolled by you in your first gen. And when it says down to the next PD outside of your strongest leg, this whole trip is going outside of your strongest leg. And some of you, you're not even a manager yet, or you're just a manager on your way to director. So you don't even know what that means, strongest leg. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute when we talk about executive. But for those of you that are going to go on the trip like Peter and myself, we have to maintain SPD 25 weeks, and we have to develop a new executive director that we've enrolled before you get to the next SPD in our line outside of your strongest leg if you want one trip. We are waiting on clarification on this, if one trip is you and a guest, or if it's one trip means you and you would have to pay for your guest. We do not know yet. I have asked that question and they are finishing up the frequently asked questions document that right now, that PDF, and actually I think there's like 15 questions I ask about this whole thing, but that's one we haven't got clarification on yet. So that will all be coming out this week. Meredith texted me yesterday and let me know that everything will be finalized and all the information will be shared in the coming week.
Dr. Staci, for the preferred customer program, right? For you to achieve the incentive trip, do you know what they need to buy? What is the minimum they're buying? Is it one sleeve or is it anything? And that counts as a preferred customer?
We do not have those specifics yet.
Okay, got
I
it.
do not know. I haven't asked about the PC program because I don't focus on that. We focus on helping people get to manager, director, and senior director. So I have not seen that yet. No one has said anything about it. And Garrett didn't talk about it on the field advisory board the other day either.
So everyone, I know that on the incentive trip, there is a way you can qualify to get preferred customers, but we are not changing our behaviors for everyone, teaching everyone to go get preferred customer, because preferred customers volume does not move up the leg. It does not make you qualify, and it does not build your business to the next level. For the
No.
same amount of time, energy, and effort that you get a customer, you can enroll a silver and qualify as a manager or double manager or triple manager for the same amount of time.
Yeah, I agree. The same thing. I've never promoted the PC program. It's a personal choice because it does not promote your business as far as growing the business. And people, a lot of times we know those silvers come in as customers and they decide they want to share because we invite them to the podcast and they think of friends and family and they want to tell friends and family and they invite them. And then poof, they turn into managers overnight. And then, whoo, you've got a manager in your team and boom, you just went director, right? So we promote the correct behavior. And that is, and if you look at this trip here, you will see that this trip here has nothing to do with PCs. So if you're focusing only on PCs to get to Cancun, then you're going to miss the boat on hitting senior director to get to the next rank, which is executive, to get you on the cruise to Greece. And so that's what we really want to talk about. So I had shared with you, and Peter went over this senior director chart. This chart is your foundation to get on the cruise. After this structure, then to earn the cruise, a brand new executive director, right here, this first section right here, a brand new, now I want you to follow me on this, because if you're going to senior director, you're going to promote out 2 directors, okay? You will promote out 2 directors to get to senior director. So you will earn the trip to Cancun automatically. You will be almost where you need to be to earn the cruise if you stick with the charts and the behavior. And I say that because executive director, we know, is exactly senior director structure. But how much volume do you need in a 4-week period, Peter?
For senior director, it is 10.
No, for executive.
For executive, it is a 50,000 volume on a 4-week accumulated period.
Mm-hmm. And what we find is that most people promote to senior director and they turn around and promote to executive director in the same day or maybe even in the same month. Because when you have this kind of excitement and momentum and you're staying plugged in and you're inviting others and they're doing the same, then you see the volume grow very quickly in your organization, okay? And so for me personally, I know, Peter, I think you did this a lot faster, but for me, it took me right under 2 months to get to executive director. I think it was 7 weeks, from 0 to executive director in 7 weeks. Now, Peter, I think you did it faster, right?
You know what? We actually, once I hit senior director, I blew through executive director, went straight to presidential director, and from presidential director, the next month, we went to senior presidential director. Mm-hmm. So that's another 100,000 points added on from the previous month. We had that much momentum going during that December, January time.
Crazy awesome. So your focus is developing these directors. You're going to earn 2 trips. Now, I want to explain to you, though, what it means down to the next presidential director outside of your strongest leg. All right. So when you get to senior director, you have 2 directors, okay? So you don't have a presidential director under you. So this does not apply. I want you to understand that. So don't get confused by that if you're brand new or you're a manager or you are a director. You don't have a presidential underneath you because you're brand new, right? And so that part doesn't apply. But when they say outside of your strongest leg, what that means is, like Peter said, we have a right leg and a left leg. You've enrolled a business builder or a brand partner on the right, and you've enrolled one on your left. One of your legs is probably going to have a little bit more volume than the other. Now, you've never stopped enrolling people. And this is where I really want to segue into something you told me, Peter, in one of the very first videos that I watched. And you said your goal is to get one on the right, one on the left that want to work a business. Your goal then is to go get another business builder on your right that wants to work, another one on the left, another one on the right, another one on the left. You eventually want 3 rock star business builders. You want 3 Peter Knows on each of your legs. Whoop, whoop, right? And so I listened to that. So I kept sponsoring people. Okay, I kept enrolling people and plugging them into this exact same system with my calendar and saying, let's do this together, invite, invite, invite. And so you're going to have what we call multiple lines of enrollership, meaning you're going to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people that you've enrolled that become manager as the months go on. You're going to have 4 or 5, 6 people that become director. Whichever leg has the strongest, most amount of volume, okay? That's the leg that they're talking about right here, where it says outside of your strongest enrollment leg. And if you need to talk to your upline about your specific business, because I've done this with all of my senior directors and above, so they know which leg is their, they know which leg is their strongest. But we talk about that and we say, okay, so that's your strongest. Who else do you have? Who else have you enrolled? It's called your line of enrollership, your line of sponsorship. Who else do you have? Then we're going to focus on helping them get to director. And you're going to build a brand new director with someone. You're going to help a brand new person. Okay. Does that make sense, Peter?
Yes, it does. So everyone, if you're confused, don't worry about it. All Dr. Staci is saying is that you're going to have one leg that you enroll. That's going to be your biggest leg. You need another one outside of that to develop. If you do that, you're going to start participating into this incentive trip, because this trip here to Greece for the cruise is a higher level, meaning that it is for you to build higher ranks here, and that's what this trip is designed to do. So just know that you're building legs. Just continually build legs. Volume is volume, rank is rank. So if you can understand that, then everything will not be confusing.
And we have just a right and a left leg, but you continue to sponsor people down either your right or your left leg. Every new person that you've sponsored is your first gen. Okay, it does not matter if I enrolled Sally at 12,000 levels deep on my right leg. Sally is my first gen. She is a line of enrollership to me. So when I promote her to director, if I were going for executive, then that would be a first gen, right? Correct. Doesn't matter how far down they are. When you enroll someone, they are your first gen. So your lines of enrollership start with that first person you enroll that wants to build. Doesn't matter where they are in your organization.
So Donna is asking, what if your legs go back and forth from strong to weak? Yes.
I've asked that. Yeah, that's a great question. So I've asked that question too, and I'm waiting for that answer to know, does it start from October 1st, whichever was the strongest on October 1st? That's the one. Because I have several people in the same situation that their volume is very similar from week to week on the right and the left. Now, if you've got one leg that ran away and there's like tons and tons of people down it, then you obviously know that's your strongest leg. That's not going to be the one that count to get you onto the trip. But if you teeter back and forth, I'm waiting for that answer. We are all waiting for that answer when they determine which leg is your strongest. Okay, because it cannot possibly be the day that they promote, because gosh, that could go back and forth, too confusing. So we're assuming, we don't have it in writing yet, but we're assuming it's whatever that volume was on the 1st of October. So we're not going to go into the executive and the presidential, senior presidential director. We'll talk leadership with those of you that are in that rank. We have a different meeting set for that to kind of dive into your businesses. But I wanted to kind of touch on this. And the reason why I did is because the elite trip, which Peter and I went on in Sardinia in August, this, you have to have 3 lines of enrollership that are at least maintaining presidential director status at 100,000 GVU every single month. So what the cruise is doing is setting you up to take out that strongest leg. You're still working with them. You love them. Everything's amazing, but take them out of the qualification. You want to focus on 2 other legs, right? That's why it said 1 trip if you build out 1 director, 2 trips if you build out 2 directors. That means you have 3 lines of enrollership that are rocking it out, okay? And so this Bora Bora trip that we're taking next summer is already That is the qualification. So 3 lines of enrollership. So I want you to think about this. Okay. I want you to think about just what Peter said when I listened to that first video when I signed up. You want one on the right, one on the left. Help them, develop them to manager, develop them to director. Go get more. Another one on the right, another one on the left that you personally enrolled. Another one, another one, another one, another one. Because you don't know who's going to take off and who isn't, but you want to help as many people get to manager as possible. Some will go on to director, some will go on to senior director, and some will go on all the way to the top of the company through all the ranks. And this Bora Bora trip is designed for having 3 lines of enrollership that are at least at Pres. And even if they are, their volume's way above, obviously you can only count 100 each month for each of them during that 12 consecutive week period. And that's exactly how Peter and I earned the trip to Sardinia, which was a trip of a lifetime for 20 of us, the top 20 in the company. And so this is open to anyone and everyone, but you can see that qualification period ends May 12th. So you're going to have to back up 12 weeks. And if you're on the way to this, which some of you are, you want to have this in your mind's eye that this is what I'm going for, and you're building correctly. Peter, you have anything you want to add to that before we wrap it up today?
Just to wrap it up, I'm just understanding as each incentive plays a role in each one of your phase where you are in. Does that make sense, everyone? You are in your own phase. So if you're just brand new starting out, your Cancun trip will be the one to shoot for. If you're already at SD, ED in the middle ranks, then the Greek islands, the cruise is something you're going to develop into. And if you're already going into the PD and SPD role, then the elite trip is something you're going to strive into as you're building wider. But all 3 incentive trips, the behavior is what? Learn where you are, develop where you are, and this is only for next year. Again, we are a 4-year team. Again, the company has experienced this momentum as we came in 4 years ago. So all these trips, everything the company is doing with all the new management, all the new events team, all the convention team, everything that the company is doing today is just starting from 2023, merging and shifting into 2024, creating a whole new culture, a whole new foundation for us to plan on. And Dr. Staci and I and Marcy, April, all our leaders here, we are just preparing Team Evolve to number 1, evolve yourself, okay? Next year, graduate whatever rank you like to be. But just know, whatever we do next year is just a 20-year anniversary. It is our 5th year for Marcy and I and many leaders here. And Dr. Staci's only 3rd year, okay? So just know we're a young team in an old company that is developing ourselves. As the company is developing, we're working really hard. Dr. Staci, Marcy, and I, April, we're working really hard to get our whole next year's schedules, our 4 biggest markets locked in, and then we can plan as a team together. But we have built the strongest online support. Things are going offline now towards patching parties. We're going to merge our online and offline. And at the end of the day, what do we do every day? We just touch people, whether it's online or offline. We're a people machine. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Paige Hunter. I got some beautiful stage pictures on you on stage. And like this whole group here, I'm just going to end with this, Staci, because we're finishing up. Everyone, like it's a leader's dream. It is literally a leader's dream to see other leaders working together. Does that make sense, everyone? Each one of you are leaders within yourself. You are leading your neighbor. You're leading your families. You're leading your community. You're leading your county, your state, your city, your country. We're all leading each other to somewhere. This is, again, it's just incentives and the company is growing. But as you can see, Dr. Staci said there was only 3,000 people at this event. She's been in events where there's 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. So how many of us are now ready to participate in a multi-billion-dollar company in the beginning stages, like right now? This is the time. This is the moment where you absorb, ground yourself, just take a deep breath and know you are part of this vision, part of this ecosystem. So whatever life has got you to get here, whatever health challenges you had to go through to get here, whatever financial, spiritual, physical, whatever you had to do to detox to get here, you are here now, okay? So Dr. Staci and I, Marcy, April, all the leaders here, even we are going to our next level of leadership. And this has taken many years to get here, but the company supporting us, the company is acknowledging who we are, they're recognizing who we are. And I just want each one of you just to be so proud and just know that we got your back. We're in this constantly, and we're going to communicate to every single levels here moving forward towards 2024. So Dr. Staci, I'm gonna give it back to you so you can close up this training.
Thank you, Peter. So last thing, I want you to print off your charts, and I want you to print off your calendar or get out your calendar and fill your calendar. Grab your upline senior director above. They know the structure. They've built the structure. They know the activity that it takes. There's so much training to plug into, but the activity that you do on a daily basis, you're inviting, you're showing up. That's what's going to get you there. And we're all here to help you, but we can't do it for you. We can do it with you. So grab some people, know what you want, know what your goal is, know your date that you're going to have that goal accomplished by, and let's get to work in the gym together. Thank you all for being here today. We look forward to seeing you all very soon at our next event in Atlanta, the first weekend of November.
Everybody register. Make sure you register. The location holds 400. I believe we're already at 250 or more. So we have only a few more weeks left. Everyone enjoy. And also, if you're in California, we're having our gala event. So check your biz site. We're having a beautiful black and white attire gala event in Southern California. So
awesome.
check.
See you guys in Atlanta.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.